Hi, everyone, and welcome to our first detoxification support videos. I know I probably emailed you guys and let you guys know that I was going to make more supportive content. One, because of a lot of my clients who I've worked with, you guys that booked me one-on-one, you guys been, emailing me these frequent questions when it comes to what's mono eating, what range of food. Even though I work with you guys one-on-one, I do have the chart, the food program, which gives you the range of foods that are considered regenerative, which helps heal and detox the body. Okay, so today, today's topic is what to eat, and specifically, we're going to focus on mono eating. Um, Mono eating, what is that? Mono eating is when you eat one thing and one thing only, and eat that to enough to be a actual meal. There's nothing added to that. It's very simple, and gives the body a really easy time to digest and process um, the food that you're eating. This makes it, if you guys read the what is detoxification, this makes the detoxification process so much easier because it goes with the model less is more approach. So just eating very simple is easier. As far as preparing your food, a lot of people who transition into this lifestyle, normally our taste buds and our mindset is doing a lot. We want to mix a lot of ingredients. We're used to a lot of stimulus, and we're used to eating a lot of processed, flavorful, high stimulating foods. And even though we're used to that, at least I know for me, after being in this lifestyle for a while, um, it just made it easier for me. I know for me, being a mother of two, stay-at-home mom, also like being an entrepreneur and being a wife, one of the things that I find to be more easier, less stressful is mono eating. So not only it helps me mentally, and also it's helping me physically because again, it's easier for the body to process and to recognize these types of food, even down to, which I will talk in another video about just the simplicity of this type of sugar. This type of sugar and these types of food, our body is designed and it is easy recognized for our body. Our body doesn't have to break things down into glucose. It doesn't have to convert anything. It just breaks it down to absorb, which this makes it more easier for the body to absorb. Therefore, it makes it easier for the body to utilize. And by the way, in the detoxification process, there's 4 processes. You have digestion, you have absorption, you have utilization, and then you have the elimination part, okay? And so a lot of the times when we're dealing with health issues as far as energy and the conversion of energy, these are just 4 conversions of energy when it comes to us consuming energy. And if one of these process is imbalanced, or we're skipping a step in these processes, this can cause imbalancement energetically, especially when it comes to food. So what do I have here? I have a few options when it comes to what to eat and how to take these simple foods and use it as a supplement for your meal for that day. So right here, I have a nice, fresh, ripened papaya. This is, and we're currently, if you guys don't know already, we're located in Mexico. We're in the tropics of Mexico. So we decided to move somewhere where it's easier to access, more tropical foods so we can eat it all year round. So I understand that a lot of my clients are not in that location, and there's only a certain amount of time, when you're able to access this types of food. Okay, so I will be doing more videos, but this is just to give you an idea. So if you do have access to these foods, And when the season you have access to these foods, this will make things easier as far as what to eat. And so one of the things I do for papaya is that it depends on how hungry I am. It also depends on how much I fasted as well. Because a lot of times, and that's another video that I will go into with our detoxification support videos, is talk about the emotional connection to food. I just released an article called Food Addiction, Emotional Attachment. You could check that out in the article section. It's a series, the food addiction aspect to it, and just delving into that. The emotional attachment, that was just, just to give you familiarity with that concept and understanding yourself more. And when you understand yourself more, you can work with yourself better. So yeah, papaya is one. And then we have the cantaloupe. So this is cantaloupe. Again, with the papaya, I'll sometimes eat, depending on the size of it, I sometimes eat a half a papaya. I try not to overindulge, because a lot of times, especially when we're first converting over from eating like certain types of food, which matter of fact, before I jump into what we have here, I want to bring up the food pyramids. So here we have our food pyramid. There's different models to this, but for the most part, it is generally the same. And I know we grew up with a totally different food pyramid, but this particular one is to regenerate the body, to heal, and to put the body in a state of regeneration, detoxification, and healing. Detoxification is key to healing. It helps balance the input-output of consumption. And one of the things with our society, we're so used to and so comfortable with consumption and bringing things into the body, but we are really uncomfortable with the purging and the detoxification and the output process of, really that part is not really focused on in Western medicine, as far as the output, and just as well, they focus on, well, this is what you should put in the body, this is what you should take as far as medications, this is what you should do. And even sometimes if they was to focus on the output, they focus on it from a very isolated standpoint and not from a holistic standpoint. But with this pyramid right here, you see in the bottom of the pyramid, you have the degenerative foods that are there, that does the opposite of healing, that does the opposite of detoxification. It actually clogs and creates stagnation within the body. It could create so-called, or what we perceive as, isolated issues when it comes to bodily expressions and symptoms. And so we have a lot of processed, very refined food. Again, this causes energetic stagnation. Usually we are drawn to this food energetically for emotional comfort. It helps numb some of the experiences that we feel, because I strongly believe we're multidimensional. There's so many aspects to us. And if you guys are here on my, website and understand what holistic really means, it means, mind, body, and spirit. Sometimes spirit is perceived as energy. To others, in religious aspect, is perceived differently. But all the same, all in all, we all can agree that we all have these different aspects to ourselves. And all of these are interconnected, and makes us, we can come from all these different aspects of why sometimes, when we start something or when we have a goal, it's hard for us to align ourselves to, not only act on that goal, but be in one accordance emotionally with that goal, because these are different aspects of ourselves. And so when making types of changes in your life with this pyramid, you have to align yourself on these different aspects of yourself to really be successful, and changing your lifestyle. So that's why I offer holistic coaching and creating these videos and concepts to really broaden our scopes and our lens of looking at things on a more holistic level. So above the regeneration baseline, you do have the raw foods, and this is, a lot of people like to make fruit salads with this. They're very creative. That's where the culinary arts come into play, to really excite the experience with eating And a lot of times when you first get into this lifestyle, you kind of gravitate towards trying to create, combine different things to really create a stimulating process for you. And I'm not here to say what's good or bad. You're still, regardless, in a state where your body is able to preserve enough energy to also focus on what's being processed, during this stage of eating the raw foods. And even that alone, you would have to eat with a very balanced mindset, because if you're eating, raw nuts, sprouted grains, and a lot of things that take more time of the body, this can be overtaxing to the body as well. But nonetheless, it's still a huge step up. It will still preserve way more energy than to just eat degenerative foods, such as the processed foods and stuff like that. So next, as we go up from the next side of the pyramid, we have, I believe, which is mono eating. Which is fruit. I'm sorry. So then you have where, you eat foods that are obviously just foods that grow fruits. And why would you eat foods that are just fruits? Well, it's because it grows closer to the sun. The closer to the sun is the foods that are foods that grow on elevated, off the ground, elevated, and has a lot of energy charged by the sun. This still has nutrients in it. This is high electrical foods. This will give you a lot of energy, and just enough, nutritional content to not be overtaxing to the body. So this is what some people call God's foods to man. But yeah, so then you have the fruits there, right? Fruits are very hydrating as well. It's a good balance. And so this is another step up, because then you have, with the raw foods, like I said, you still have, the grains, sprouts, the seeds, the nuts, and things that are still healthier, but they're energetic. I forgot what it's called. It's called like biophotons. Their energy is more denser, more slower, right? And so if you want to eat more high vibrating foods, people elevate to a space where they do the fruits. And this is usually what a lot of detoxification specialists refers people to get onto these high fruit diets, incorporating probably like water fasting, dry fasting, intermittent fasting, depending on your understanding and your level of self-discipline, and be able to maintain balance, and of course incorporating your lifestyle. But yeah, so that's what we have next is fruits. And then, as I accidentally said before, now we have mono eating, or mono foods, and again, that is eating very simplistic, that whole model of less is more approach, and using certain types of foods to really just satisfy and give the body, it's just way more easier for the body to process these foods. These foods are usually, when you're eating with mono eating, the body it's a symbiotic relationship. When you put food in the body is kind of scanning what you're putting in, and altering the stomach acids and stuff to help break the food down. But if you have a multitudes of different layers of foods in there, the body still can break it down, but it's not as efficient as it could if you were to eat mono foods. So that's the benefit of mono eating. That's why that's higher up on the scale, because not only is it high vibrational foods, but you're eating very simplistic. And with mono eating, that usually comes with eating foods that you don't have to season, you don't have to mix up. And that's usually fruits, because fruits come with its own seasoning, its own stimulation, and its own juicy flavor and experience. And you can eat one and one alone, and that can just excite and satisfy your taste buds, because again, and also give you enough energy to go about your day. once you get to a certain level, again, you do have to work and pay attention to the mentality and the emotional aspect of oneself, but you can get to this space and, just be very cautious of those other aspects. So now we're going to go back into what do we have here. Like I said, this is not the end all be all. This is more so just to give you an idea and just a better understanding of what to eat and the different types of levels to eating. So for me, I've been in this field for a while, and at first I was, one to do the most and try to, like I said, eat more complex raw foods. But I found what works best for my body, and as we know within the pyramid, it's just way more or less taxing, simplistic emotionally as well, because I don't have to think like, oh, I gotta, buy all these different ingredients, prepare them, wash them, and the full works that can come with this. And so the beauty to this, and these are my favorites, I love it, is mono eating. I actually do a lot of mono eating. I still have a variation as well, but when I'm eating my high raw food content, this is usually what I'm eating. And we have, like I said, the papaya. This is like a medium-sized papaya, really. It's a big fat one, but it's like medium-sized. And so depending on like my level of hunger, because sometimes I'll eat a half a papaya and I'll eat that, and then like 30 minutes to an hour later, I'll eat the other half. Why do I do that? Well, because going back to those four processes, the digestion, the absorption, the utilization, and the elimination, right? If I'm eating this entire papaya, a lot of the times I'll overwhelm my body to even truly absorb. Your body can only absorb so much at one time. So a lot of times, even with like the whole supplement model and the whole supplement model, or just like when we overeat, a lot of times it's either stored or you're far as watery content food, you're peeing it out. So for me, I found to eat and when I'm eating these really high vibrational water content food, my body can only hold but so much water at a time, and it can only absorb so much water at a time, right? And so I don't want to over saturate my body with a certain amount of water at one time. So eating in moderation and learning to be in the flow of how to eat is super key, which we'll delve into at another time. So for me, I found it best to eat, it also depends on my hydration level. So if I'm really dehydrated, I would eat more. I could tell my body would intuitively want more hydrating, watery food. And the beauty about these types of food is that these are high water content fruits. And one of the things, all I have here, well, I have mangoes as well. What I have here mainly are foods that I recommend and I love to eat again. So that's papaya, and then we have cantaloupe. And again, normally I eat like a half of that and then maybe eat the other half, when I get hungry and give my body some a break in time. So papaya, and actually all of three of these are like I've grown to just interchangeably like my top three picks. Watermelon. If you guys work with me one-on-one, I'm a cheerleader and promoter of watermelon, but I love watermelon. This is a huge one, so I can't pick it up. Hopefully you guys can see it. This watermelon, eating, I usually cut it into like a circle, and I like cut it as like a slice of pizza, and I eat like that for me. But, I'll eat wedges of watermelon. And again, it's about not oversaturating the body and eating a whole bunch and trying to get full off of these foods. And that's the thing when we are converting our diet into a very high vibrational, lighter and less stagnant, energetic diet. we're very used to that numbing and that dense and that sluggish feeling and that feeling of heaviness. And so, it's usually hard to, a lot of times we just are eating and we're seeking to fill that feeling of full with these types of food. And now I eat to be satisfied. So I eat enough to be satisfied rather than trying to go for that feeling of full. Every once in a while, if I'm having a very, tough time going on in my life and processing emotionally, which I realize I'm very more in tune with my energetic and emotional aspects of myself as well. But these three are my top three. But I like all types of food, but I also love mangoes. These are not ripened right now, but we have a few, mangoes. So, getting enough and eating just a nice simple bowl of ripened mangoes would be so satisfying as well. And, my daughter bit into this apple, but you have apples, sometimes eating a bowl of sliced apples, enough to be satisfied, right? And the more you work on your emotional body and your emotional aspect of yourself and doing different things to help with this, the more it's easier to eat these types of food and be in a state of satisfaction where you're not overly eating or you're not going towards the degenerative foods. So I'm not going to keep this video long. I hope this was helpful. I'm sure you can think of other things as well. I remember there's been times I ate a bowl of blueberries, a bowl of bananas, when it comes to mono eating, but this just should give you an idea. Mono eating is just eating one ingredient, usually raw, high vibrational food when it comes to detoxifications. So all you guys, if you're watching detoxification support videos, that is obviously the focus area, is to get the body to regenerate and to heal. And eating very simplistic, and one ingredient definitely makes the digestive process and the 4 different processes it's able to be more efficient in that process. Okay, so I hope if you have any questions, you can always email me. You can write it in the comments of this video. I thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for our next one. Peace.